Yo, it's Stanky. It's been a hot minute since I made a video, but I watched these videos with Purge and Slacks, and I was just banging my head against the desk enough that I felt like I had to make a video. So here you go. The video I just watched was the one where he did a live coaching game, which I think Purge did a great job of trying to live coach. I've done that before, and it's hard to talk about and discuss general game concepts. You're kind of doing like minute by minute. This is what I would be doing in your situation if I were you, but it's hard to discuss like why and general concepts. Um, but I think this, so I figured I would go into that. So I think what happened is this is his game. Like the main thing that, like the main theme of the game was that Slacks was being very unteachable, if I have to say so. He was very like adamant that his way of winning the game was correct, and it's really not. So he was worried. His main concern, I don't know if he was like worried about losing a game in this like series. He was stressed. He didn't want to like play bad, look bad. He didn't want to lose in front of like viewers and stuff. But he just seemed adamant on like go push, go push. Don't want to go late game. We need to win now or we're gonna lose. That was his like his panic, which is like reasonable. Except that his team is very strong late game. Like they should. This team is. I think they had a huge outdraft. I think they got a way stronger early game, a very strong mid game, and enough late game. Uh, like BKB through BKB disables, instant hexes, like massive armor reduction, and like split push damage, and a save. Like they've got a very strong lineup to go late game with, and I don't think that should be a huge concern unless it's like mega ultra late game and you to give them a ton of free farm and get out farmed. But so he identified kind of a right problem, but not really, and then the solution to it was completely wrong. So the solution in his eyes was to just get five heroes, charge down in mid lane, and try to just push shit, force team fights, force Raxes and force buildings and objectives. But the problem is he would do that at the expense of taking good fights. So when you're ahead of the team and you've got complete map control, and say like you own this much of the map, they've only got this bit of the area of the map that they can survive in, and you have the entire lot here that you can farm. So you can now farm say like 70-80% of the map, they can only farm 20. So you're going to be increasing your net worth lead, which is what's happening in like these moments here when they're not taking stupid fights. Like if you look at this graph, it's like doing well, back, and we'll go through why those when those happened, but I'm sure you can take a guess. When you're farming the whole map, you're just accruing advantage, and if you don't make stupid mistakes, like this is a setback. This is him getting a tower, which we'll look at in a minute, but that tower sets you back to where you were net worth lead wise at like 4 minutes into the game. So it undoes all that good work you did up to that point for the sake of a tower. His like the I respawn but the towers don't like philosophy is just ridiculous. I get it, but it doesn't help you win the game. Like having that T2 tower gone is way less important than them not getting farm, then not like if you die, they get to push out their lanes, refarm the map, they take all your wards down, you lose map control and you have to go back and start again. It's totally the wrong way to win a game of Dota that you're ahead in. Like the classic way to win a game of Dota when you're ahead is to snowball your lead. You win your lanes, you push out all your lanes. You the T1 towers generally go down pretty easily without much thought, and then you aggressively ward. So then you should go as five, sort of push into their jungle, maybe smoke, take over their jungle, put some wards up, and then push out your lanes and then wait for them to respond. Split them up. So then if they have to respond to pushing in lanes, then one of the heroes will be top, one will be mid or something. You'll see them under a ward, and then you can know that it's safe to go pick the other heroes. And you can find easy picks, and then those lead into towers, and then you take all the other towers, and then you've got the lane so pushed in that you can take a free Roshan. If they contest it, they get killed because you're so far ahead on farm. And then you just wait for a pick, and then you go. You've got Rosh. They've only got four heroes. You've got five, and you go high ground. That's like you don't just so the games were like Vici Gaming. I think when they were doing the massive push strats, and I don't know what TI is like 5 or 6, they would just barrel down as a 5-man group and go mid lane and just go take all 2 towers in this lane, take 2 towers in this lane, then go high ground at about 18 minutes or whatever. They were very specifically designed strategies around like healing heroes here, like Juggernaut with healing ward. They'd get mana boots, they'd go mech, they'd go pipe or earn, like all these regenning items and sustain items for long built out fights, and they wouldn't just go in and suicide to get the buildings. Like that's not how you win games. Obviously, you won this game, so like you can call me an idiot, but I'm going to go through quickly why I think he's wrong. But that's the gist if you don't want to watch the whole video. But um, I'm going back to that first big dip here, and if you have watched the game, you'll probably be able to guess what it's from. So it's this mid tower. They smoke up, but he's right in the front. It's the first mistake. Obviously, he's looking for a hex or a pick or something, but it should be your axe that's leading here, really, if he doesn't have blink. So he gets out of position. Yes, he gets a hex, but then they get like countered over the top with a big stun. Could have gone poorly for them, but in the end they got the pick, and now they push mid. But this is the real mistake. Again, he's at the front, right at the front of the fight, in the creep wave last hitting. He should just nuke the wave from the back so that he can play hex and shackles and place his wards from a safe position without dying. He's out of position. They've got all this net worth lead, but they throw it away by forcing a fight. Like saying, alright, we've got complete map control, we've got vision, but we're going to throw all that advantage away by just getting 5 heroes here, 5 heroes here, like just making it completely obvious where your team is so that they can respond with their team and then just meet you in a fight. Like, come fight us in the open. That's not the right solution. So they all get rolled here, they all die, they don't even get the tower, and the net worth just absolutely tanks back to where they were before. And then if we click through to the next one, same thing happens again down bot lane. So they're pushing bot. They have a fight. Slacks is waiting for his wards to get up. 5 seconds. Goes in and pushes it, but he's still sitting at the front. This isn't too bad positioning. I'd say it is a good shackle. But again, the axe is in the top lane. They don't have all their heroes. They don't need to force it so hard, right? They're allowing this like 4v5 fight to happen, and they get rolled. Yes, they get the tower, but how much does that set them back in net worth? A lot. There we go. They go back from almost 5k, where they were recovering a little bit again, right down to almost even. They got a tower, sure. But like net worth is items. Items is like BKBs, blinks, more damage, yules, like all that shit that you don't want them to have if you're trying to win a game. So let's go through, look at the next one. Where are we? They haven't had another major setback yet. Let's click ahead. I think that was just about to happen there. Yeah, there we go. That was a mid push. So it drops the wards in the tower and then blinks. What is this? What? What is the point of that? I just don't get it. You just put, like, if you have Roche, you just put your Naga on the tower, just let him punch it. Just take the buildings for free. Why do you have to suicide your hero to get a building? Like, they got a tower. They got the mid T3 tower. That was the only objective they gained from that, and look at the loss. All the lanes get pushed out, lose a shit ton of gold. They don't even get a Rax. Like, if you look at the trajectory of this line, like, had this carried on the way it was going, they would have been at, like, you know, 30,000 net worth lead by now, and then the game would have been finished. In an attempt to win the game earlier, he's actively delaying the game longer. So, not wanting to go late game, he doesn't want to go late game. But what he's doing is making it go late game. It's guaranteeing the game is going to take longer than it would if he went with my strategy. Or the, you know, good, normal strategy. So, I think I'm not in a good place again. We're going to look for another suicide when they go for, I think that's the T3 mid, yeah. So we're pushing mid. Blink. Why do you blink? What is the point of blinking there? So, like, what he should just walk up, stay at a safe distance. His cores should be in front of him, hitting the buildings, and then he just drops the wards right here in the middle of the racks. But they blink in. They're blinking into, like, Deucer Song, Tornado EMPs, stuns, Ember Slights, all this sort of stuff. They got bad positioning. It allows for, like, buyback kills. Like when they got the tower, I think it was Ember that bought back and killed them all, but it's really easy to buy back and fight if you're out of position like this. So I'm not going to, like, overanalyze all of these fights, but we're looking at general concepts. Like, I don't think they even got the racks, right? No. So didn't even get the racks because they forced the fight so early. Like when you're pushing like that, what you got to take advantage of the fact that if you pressure them and they have to make a bad initiation on you, like they have to look for a mistake. If you give them the mistake immediately by blinking in, then you make their life easy. You got to make it hard for them. Look at that! Look at this! Look at that! Whew! Whew, that's rough. It's a 10k gold swing. Fuck me. That is bad for not even a Rax. 0 objective. Like okay. Let's look for another glorious example of my point. Oh, here we go. There's one. There must be one there. Oh yeah, there's the wards. Let's go back so we can see the brilliant initiation. He's got a refresher now. Obviously, he was the... Blink in. Complete waste of blink. Now blinks on cooldown for 14 seconds. Like, there was another point in the fight where he blinked into Roshan to, like, look at the cheese that he didn't even pick up. And then he's like, do you have blink to go kill this hero? And he's like, nope, sorry, don't have it. It's because this blink was on cooldown because he wasted it. If you're blink, you should only use blink when you need to. It's so valuable to be able to blink hex in fights. Again, this wards is silly because there's no creeps here yet. You don't have any creeps to be hitting the tower, and your cores aren't hitting it, so they killed half of his wards immediately for free. But yeah, forcing the fights, diving deep, ignoring the buildings. So like objective gaming isn't even happening here, right? By going in and dropping the wards like that, you're forcing them into this like shitty fight where they're out of position. And the net worth swing is about to occur. And now look where your lanes are. Pushed out to here, pushed out there. So what should happen, all these lanes should be sitting here, and you should have ward here, a ward here, a ward here, a ward here. Like, buy a gem, de-ward all of their vision, so they don't see shit, they're terrified to leave their base. You see everything, and you can get pick-offs really easy, and make them come out of their base. Just wait till they're bored. If they don't come out of their base, you farm 90% of the map. You got every neutral camp on the map, you guys can farm. Because if they come out to you, you're going to see them on your vision, and they won't come out because they're too scared. And if you don't see them defending their lanes, then you know they're smoked. There are other ways to end games. Like, don't get me wrong, this is like not the way I'm describing. It's not the only way to win a game. There's plenty of strategies. But when you're ahead and you're snowballing, this is the best way to win the game. The one I'm describing. If you haven't made a specific push strat, you know. So that's another spike, and then I think they've got one more lane of racks to get. So every time they're doing the right thing, not taking these death fights, look how fast they're farming. Like, because they have this natural map control, they farmed back in like a few minutes. They farmed back 11,000 net worth lead. Without all these setbacks, they would have... Whew. Okay. They would have been so far ahead. And this is like, I think, not even the end of the game. Again, blinks in, drops both wards, blinks on cooldown. And he dies. Wards are up, but he's dead. You can achieve the same thing without dying. I think you guys are getting the point by now. But like, there we go. And then the very last one, they drop the wards on the tower, and it gets it. But that's the game. I'll do another one. Do I want to do it now? I'll make a second video where I go through... I played a Rasta game just after this. It's not like the best Rasta game in the world, but it's another game where I played it and I figured I'd have a go at doing what, you know, Purge taught him. I did learn a couple of things from that video. It was useful for me too, but it might be a good example if you want to see like what I'm trying to describe in some respect of what to do, rather than just seeing what not to do. Good luck out there, guys. Happy dodoring.